Today on Business Talk, let's talk about a recent trend in the music industry. Live concerts are all the rage these days as countries rake in billions from concert tourism. More cities are investing heavily to boost their appeal. Hosting international concerts featuring global musicians is a key strategy to boost the economy. Swift's 6 record-breaking concerts in Singapore with over 300,000 tickets sold reportedly earned the city-state between 225 and 300 million Singapore dollars. Coldplay's concert in Indonesia generated an economic impact of around 1.2 trillion rupiah, and this includes online ticket sales, hotel bookings, and increased use of public transportation. And according to Tourism Minister Sandiaga Uno, Indonesia can benefit like Singapore by hosting world-class concerts. A 2 to 3 day concert in Indonesia could generate up to 1 trillion economic impact. Most recently, Bruno Mars is scheduled to perform in Indonesia on this September 11th, 13th, and 14th. His concerts are expected to also significantly boost the country's economy. And it has been a hot debate because hosting international events requires strong infrastructure and cooperation among music industry players, the government, organizers, and promoters for effective planning and execution. Let's delve deeper into this topic with Dr. Samir Elhajjar, Senior Lecturer at the Department of Marketing of the National University of Singapore. Hi, Dr. Elhajjar. Thank you so much for joining us.
Sure, my pleasure. Thank you.
And this is a hot topic indeed. And we've just mentioned how Taylor Swift has done, 6 days in Singapore. Bruno Mars is about to do 3 days in Jakarta. How do you see this trend of holding international musicians' concerts, especially in Southeast Asia? Have you noticed this increase over the years following the pandemic?
I think it's a very exciting trend. It's something that has definitely picked up after the pandemic, with more countries like Singapore, Indonesia, are reopening and people are eager for live events. I think our region, Southeast Asia, has become an attractive destination for musicians and for bands like Coldplay. You can see actually big names, Blackpink, Taylor Swift, and others that added this region to their tours. This means that actually this region is becoming a very attractive destination. Here we have multiple factors that we can discuss, including the growing fan base, the improved infrastructure, and region economic rise, including the strong purchasing power of consumers. I think that our region is becoming a very attractive destination for all of these musicians. And let's see actually how this exciting trend will go.
It certainly has brought economic impact that is, that is exceeded expectations. Now, how can concerts bring positive impacts to the local economy? If you could break it down for us.
I believe concerts can have a huge positive impact on the local economy. Think of all tourism it drives. People travel from other cities or even other countries, booking hotels, dining at restaurants, shopping locally. And on top of that, concerts can create jobs from venue staff to vendors, and even can increase demand for local transportation. So it's not just about ticket sales, it's a ripple effect on local businesses. We are talking about large-scale concerts that can put cities on the map of entertainment. And now we are talking, for example, about Singapore as being entertainment hub. And this can attract investors, can attract tourists, and more importantly, can show the interest of people in cities. And so we are talking mainly about coverage in the media and marketing coverage for these events and for these cities, and this definitely can have a huge positive impact. So we are talking about kind of attention that can lead to increased investment in infrastructure, better transportation systems, and definitely new venue constructions. So there is a ripple effect on local businesses and on the macroeconomic dimensions as well.
Well, Dr. Elhajjar, is really, really true, because we've just mentioned how, the significant interest or significant increase in public transportation use when Coldplay came to Jakarta, for instance. But, to be attractive as a country, the artists must want to come here as well. And everyone is very curious. What are the important aspects or factors for a country to be attractive to international artists of high caliber, like Bruno Mars, Taylor Swift, or Coldplay? Because some people were hoping simply because, we have data now thanks to streaming platforms, right? That Southeast Asians do consume a lot of music, and they are some of the highest consumers in terms of musical streaming, even new artists they would find. So what does it take for an artist to want to come to a country? Because this is the curiosity of everybody.
I think security here is a big priority, security and safety. At the end of the day, artists want to run their shows smoothly and safely. You add infrastructure, accessible transportation, well-maintained venues, but most importantly, safety and security. I mean, recently we have heard some news coming from Austria and Hungary about Taylor Swift concerts, for example. So you can see the importance of security in such events. Definitely, there are additional factors such as reliable logistics, sound systems, accommodations that matter too. And finally, I mean, one important trend that we have seen recently is the incentives that government can make. And these incentives can make a difference. For instance, last year we have seen how the Singaporean government has provided more incentives to Taylor Swift. And this could be actually a turning point into this game.
And you mentioned as well incentives, but before we go there, what about trust? Because something interesting is that you mentioned before it has to be secure, that the artist has to feel secure, that they can, conduct their concerts safely in a location or a venue. But what about trust? Singapore is now known as an entertainment hub, as you mentioned before. How long did it take for Singapore to build trust like that? I mean, Singapore didn't just automatically one day have the ability to, tell Taylor Swift, come to Singapore and, hold 6 days of concerts. So how long did it take for Singapore to build trust like that?
I think that's a very important question, the question of trust, because Singapore has really set itself apart when it comes to attracting international artists and conferences. I think key takeaway from Singapore is how they blended up top-tier infrastructure, efficient logistics, and strong marketing. So you have this formula of infrastructure, logistics, and strong marketing because the city has strategic location, but still they improve connectivity, they improve logistics and infrastructure. I think other countries can learn a lot from, but one dimension that we should not forget that how Singapore always markets these events. Now Singapore is becoming a prime destination for all important events on regional, not only regional, but on the global landscape. And this actually took a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of investments.
Well, yeah, certainly interesting. You started with being able to host something like F1 at night, and then getting artists to perform at F1 as well is also something really, really big, and that took a couple of years. Some interesting thing that was mentioned is also ticketing, right? In terms of government incentive, does it go to ticket subsidies and things like that? Because we noticed that there, in terms of price affordability, Singapore is again another destination because of countries being able to hold concerts at certain prices, and it is very competitive. So what is the ticketing scheme there? Does that include the government incentive into the ticketing as well, or how is that being managed? Because price of tickets is also another very, very big attraction.
I think it's the whole experience, right? The whole event experience that should be seamless from the airport arrival to the concert halls, including all of these incentives and initiatives to make a viable strategy to make this experience better for visitors and for tourists. So for instance, last year, I think it's not only about the financial incentives that Singapore has provided. Singapore can provide a very smooth experience for everyone in terms of how effective they are in the experience itself in terms of logistics and infrastructure. So it might work for Singapore, but it might not work for other countries if they don't provide actually the same level of seamless experience. And let's not forget, when it comes to the effectiveness of such schemes, it all depends on the economic return. So you are investing money and you are looking for return on investment. So such financial initiatives depends from a country to another. So if you provide a seamless experience to the tourists, this will be a great plus. But if you don't provide that experience, even financial initiatives will not help.
So it certainly is very interesting, because the next question was, I was about to ask if it would be applicable in other countries in Southeast Asia, but then you already answered my question. So, but most concerts in Southeast Asia, right, are held in Singapore. You have Jakarta, Manila, Kuala Lumpur, or Bangkok. So how can ASEAN countries share these opportunities to ensure fair and mutual benefits for all? Because Singapore as a hub itself has the power to attract Southeast Asian people coming, but for a cost, locals want them locally. So what suggestion you have for all?
I think they could work on regional partnerships where artists might hold multiple shows across different cities within a short time. For instance, organizers could create packages that include dates for Singapore, Jakarta, Bangkok, Kuala Lumpur together. And these countries could also collaborate to streamline visa processes and transportation options, making it easier for artists to travel and perform in multiple places. So it's like having more regional partnerships where visitors and artists can enjoy different shows across different cities. Another thing that actually is important here is the diversity that our region has. And the cultural diversity could be an important advantage not only for concert organizers but also for governments. If we shed the lights on the cultural diversity, more tourists will come and they will believe that this package might be an important incentive for them to come here, enjoy the show, but also enjoy the culture.
Certainly very interesting diversity, especially when we talk about Southeast Asia. But Indonesia specific though, this is probably my last question now. What's your suggestion for Indonesian authorities so more international artists of high caliber will stop by? Given that it has more people, so population-wise, we do have buying power and there are more venue options as well.
So I think that one priority is to enhance the concert going experience by upgrading venues, ensuring smooth crowd management. They also have to promote the unique cultural and natural attraction as part of the touring experience. That's how they can benefit economically and financially. They might also offer financial incentives like tax breaks, much like Singapore. They could help actually to stand out and to go out to concerts, part of an economic and financial benefit for the government, especially with its large population and diversities. So it's more like having a complete package for the experience, cultural, natural experience, but most importantly, they have to enhance the concert going experience by upgrading their venues, ensuring the smooth crowding management, and definitely to develop the infrastructure.
All right, thank you so much. It looks like it's going to be a 360 effort from all parties, not just government, but of course the private sector parties that are involved as well. So Dr. Elhajjar, thank you so much for your time. And thank you so much for being here on See Today. And we look forward to the next topic that we discuss with you. And perhaps next time you come by to the studio.
I would love to.
See you in Jakarta. Now that was our conversation on live musical concert in the region for today's Business Talk. You can stay connected with us on Instagram, X, and YouTube. Our handle's @See Today News. We're also available online at seetodaynews.com. Let's stay connected.